Do you feel stuck in a career that doesn't bring you joy? I'm Jen Swanson, your career coach, and I'm here to talk about finding joy and meaning in your work. Do you feel like you're just going through the motions some days? Do you feel like you're not getting much out of the job that you're doing? If that's true, you're not alone, and I'm here to talk to you about what to do if you're finding yourself in that position and can't make a change right now and have to live with what you've got, which is something that many people find themselves dealing with at this time. So it can be hard to figure out how to find the joy and how to find meaning in what you're doing, but it's not impossible. I'm here to talk to you about what you can do within the limits of being in a job that you're not super happy or joyful about. Or maybe you've just lost the spark and you need to find it again. That could be it too. Why is it important to find joy and meaning in your work? It could just be a job that you go to and you do and you get it done and them's the breaks and these are the things you have to live with. Well, the thing about it is if you do find some joy and some meaning in the work that you're doing, then it can boost your productivity, it can increase your creativity, it can fill something within you. And that's really what we're all doing here on this planet, isn't it? We're trying to find purpose and find a place within this human existence where we feel like we matter and that what we're doing matters. So there are things that you can do in the moment, and I'm going to talk about them right now. The first one is to actually be where you are. Be present fully in the moment instead of thinking, oh, I shouldn't be here. I wish I was doing something else. What you're doing in that case is you're fighting against reality, and you never win that battle. So if you are feeling that way, pay attention to what you're saying inside of yourself and try to be fully in the moment. What can you do in the very present moment to find something good, to feel a little bit of joy, to pay attention to what you're doing? Are you fully in the present? Or are you always thinking about what you could have been doing had you made this decision or that decision, or what you might be doing next? A lot of us spend time in the future and in the past and don't actually find ourselves located in this very present moment. There's a fantastic book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. It came out quite some time ago. It is basically what many of the spiritual gurus are talking about, is being here now, because now is the only thing we actually have, right? The past is over, the present is here, the future hasn't happened yet, and so right now is where we should be paying most attention. And the problem is that most of us aren't. We are sleepwalking through life, thinking about dinner, thinking about what we should have said to that person yesterday who wasn't very nice to us in the store or whatever. Can you locate yourself right now in the present moment? And you might need some practices to help you with that. Mindfulness is a buzzword, but it's also a real thing, scientifically proven to help calm and focus us into the task that we are doing at hand. See if you can find yourself in the present moment. It's impossible to be there all of the time, but if you can work on that one little skill, then you might find that you are less stressed and calmer in the work that you're doing. And probably there are some positive aspects of the work that you're doing, and maybe you can focus on those things. Find the things that you like doing, even if it's just a tiny bit of something in the work that you're doing. What is it that you like, and can you focus on that? Another way to find joy and meaning in your work is to focus on your thoughts and emotions. Maybe not focus isn't the right word. Maybe pay attention to the thoughts and emotions, because we are addicted to our own thoughts. It's true. And we believe them. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, don't believe everything you think, because often our minds are not helping us. The whole job of the mind is to keep us safe. Right? And we get into these grooves, into these loops, into these habits where we say the same old things to ourselves, and a lot of them are unhelpful. So catch yourself. See if you can make it a game. Nobody knows what you're doing inside your head. So maybe you can make it a little bit of a game when you're at work. If an automatic negative thought or ANT comes through, catch it and say, wait a minute, why did I think that? Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe that person isn't whatever you've thought. Maybe I am doing a good job. Maybe here I am. I'm showing up today and I'm here in the present moment. See if you can play that game with yourself and pay attention to your thoughts and your emotions, because we can shift those. There are ways that we can shift our thoughts that will therefore shift our feelings, that will therefore have an impact upon our actions. And this isn't going to happen instantly. It's not something that you can, wave a magic wand and suddenly you're thinking in a more positive light. It takes work, it takes practice, because it has taken probably a very long time to get those ruts and grooves. And so you want to rewire your brain, basically. You want to pay attention to that negativity, pay attention to that thought, and see if you can shift it or reframe it even slightly. Now, I'm not suggesting that everything is la la, happy, happy, joy, joy all the time, because it's not. That's not realistic. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that maybe some of the thoughts that you're thinking, some of those beliefs that you've got running in the background are not helpful and are not helping the fact that you have to do this work right now. And so maybe there are ways to reframe that. Maybe there's something good. There has to be something good in what it is that you're doing. And maybe it's the fact that you can walk to work. Maybe it's the fact that the people you work with are nice. Maybe you are building something or creating something that is good. There's probably some aspect of the job that you are doing that is enjoyable to you, or else why did you go there in the first place, right? So think back to then. What was it about this position, this work, this task, this career that you enjoy or find interesting? And then think about that and focus on that. And then it's important to think about purpose and reflect on purpose. So you might want to take a moment and think, what is the purpose of me doing this work? Who is it for? Who is benefiting from what it is that I am doing? And is that still speaking to my internal belief systems, into my values? Because we do grow, we do change. What you did 10 years ago might not be what you want to be doing in another 10 years. It might not be what you want to be doing now. We grow, we change, we learn, we mature. And as we do that, our focus changes, and the things that we find purposeful and meaningful do change, and joyful as well. So maybe there are some things that have changed and shifted. You can think back to where you were when you started, and you can also think about what this job allows you to do. And that brings me back to something else I want to talk about, which is, it might not be where you want to be right now, but what is this job allowing you to do outside of work hours? If you can't find meaning and purpose and joy in the work that you're doing, does it allow you to find those things in your personal time, on the weekends, in the evenings, whenever it is that you're off? So maybe you make a lot of money. You don't like the work, but you make a lot of money, and you're able to therefore use that money to go play and go out for dinners and have some fun with your friends and your family and your loved ones. Maybe that allows you to do that. Maybe the work that you're doing allows you, there's some aspect of it that is convenient. There's some aspect of it that is good, that will allow you to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you volunteer when you have time off, and that gives you meaning and purpose. So the job could be a means to an end. It could be a stepping stone. It could be something that you have to do right now because you can't see any other alternative. And until you do, the best thing to do is to do the job the best way that you know how, and then focus on finding your purpose and your meaning and your joy in the other things that this position allows you to do. One of the things that I am trained in is neuro-linguistic programming, and if you haven't heard of that before, it is the relationship between our neurology and the words that we use, the linguistics, the language that we use, and that's external language and internal language, which is why I am so passionate about us talking about the things we say to ourselves and also the things we say to other people, and how those things become habits and how those things get ingrained in us. Perhaps the words that you use are a way that you can begin. If you hate your job, maybe you can find a different way of saying that, and maybe you can lessen that a little bit and you can change the state that you're in. So if you want to actually try this, I want you to imagine right now a time when you were doing something that you absolutely love. Doesn't have to be paid. It could be something that you absolutely love doing, you're really, really good at, and you can do it without thinking too much. So it might be that you're really, really good at cooking, or you might be really, really good at a sport, or you might be really, really good at music and you love to do it. And imagine yourself doing that. Put yourself into that state. Think about how it feels in your body. Think about your emotional state. What are you getting out of doing that? And then once you've tried that, remember that state. Keep that in mind, and then bring that into your work sometime. When you're busy doing something that you don't particularly want to do, recall that state of being when you were doing something that was so easy. It was what we call being in the flow. Bring that up and see if you can transpose that state of being in that great, happy, easy, purposeful place, and see if you can impose that onto the place that you are in now. If I was to work with you, I would go through a process where we could do that for you so that you had a way, an anchor, a way of getting back to that good flow whenever you need to. But for now, you can try that yourself and see if you can put yourself into a different state, because our states are the way that we are feeling and showing up and being present, and it informs everything that you do. If you're in a state that is positive and easy and happy and excited, then that will come through everything else that it is that you do. So what I want you to do is not give up on finding meaning and joy in the work that you're doing, because burnout is real, and burnout comes a lot of the time from having a lack of purpose, feeling like what you're doing is meaningless. Finding meaning, if you can't find joy, at least find meaning in the reason why you are doing this particular job. If it's too difficult, if it's too awful, then you might want to consider what's next for you. What might you do next that would help to fulfill that purpose and that joy? There is no rule that you have to stay in the same job your whole career, especially not now, right? There are other options out there. If you need help with that, I do have a couple of spaces in my coaching practice, and I've got a special on right now, so you can email me if you are interested in that, and we can talk to see if we are a fit to work together. Now, if you are interested in figuring out what to do if you don't have a passion, then I will link to a video here and you can click on that next, and I'll see you over there.